So we put the fender back on, we cleaned the welds up and everything, and this is where we're at. It doesn't look too bad, much better, and we didn't change too much overall. The 1.5 inch was actually the scooch over that we needed, and I think that's going to look pretty dang good. Matches the back of the truck. Let me pull the plastic up, and it matches the back of the truck. So the symmetry was everything. Now to bodywork this. So where we're at with these fenders, you've seen Kevin actually welding everything up, stitching everything, and we stitched from the back, cooled everything, so we cooled the weld, and we welded at a very low temperature, low wire speed, and just tack here, and then tack there, and then tack just everywhere. You don't just tack in a line and it just warps, and it's a disaster. We have very minimal warp, if any, on this. I had to hammer dolly a couple little highs and lows out, but for the most part, I'm smoothing everything out with a little bit of Kevlar. Now, in order to do this, what I had to do is final the welds down, hammer dolly, nice and everything smooth, okay? And then I'm going to coat all the way across here, and I'll show you how it's done. Normally I could synchromate that area and then put the product in, but I'm not going to. What I want to do on this one is here get a nice bond in between the weld on both sides. We're going to use this Kevlar reinforced fiberglass. It's called Fibertech, and it's a real good product. We really like it, and we're going to put a skim over that area below. So with a stitch, we're going to put a skim. And then after that, we're going to D8 back, make sure everything's nice and flat with that, and then we're probably going to use a high build primer on top of that and build a surface tension over on top of that. Okay, where we're at right now is prepping the metal. So we tack welded everything down, that's where we're at, cleaned everything up, we whiz wheeled it, we grinded, dressed the welds, everything's good there. Now we're ready to rough all this up, which we were doing. And you want to make sure you have a lot of teeth into the metal. So basically you want to rough everything up, and you don't want any area that's not sanded. Like you see up in here, none of this is sanded. Nothing's going to adhere to that. You got to sand it. So what we like to do is just a coarse pad on a whiz wheel, and then whiz everything down, make sure everything's clean. You can see the metal is already protected. We have a little bit of green, which is our epoxy primer, and then we have a 2K on top of the epoxy. But when we had to do the repair area to shift this forward, we had to cut and weld everything, so everything changed. Now dolly and hammered. Now we're ready to just clean all this up. So here's the product we use. It's Evercoat Fibertech. We really like this product. There's the part number. And it activates just as much as any other regular product we use in terms of Bondo. You put a blue hardener in it, and same amounts, like you have a blob and then you put a little bit of a dash for the activator and you mix it all together and everything. So the hardener is here and that. So you mix it up and then you have like a minute or so to apply it. So pretty much that much. And from there we mix it in, and see we're going from this magenta color and then it'll start turning purple really quick. See, now we're turning a color, and I got to move on this. So I don't want this to activate, and it's worse in, actually, we found warm, humid weather. And then we'll get ready to push this stuff on. So let me see if I get you in the camera here. And then we're gonna just smash that stuff on there. We're gonna D8 off anyway, so, and also I like to curve this to the panel when I do this. And I wanna layer it up, because I don't wanna keep the stitch line there. Come back over here and just add a little bit more, make it go away. That way we can get this down in one shot. Hey everybody, hope you can hear me over the fan, and the fact that we have a cold front coming through is raining pretty good. So I don't like to work over a certain amount. That's more than enough that I want to do. The reason being, if we put too much material on here, we're taking too much time, we're going to lose that material, and the material is getting very expensive. A gallon of platinum is 0.1171, which is what we use, is now $70+, and we can't even get it in stock right now. Some things right now, as of this video, are not obtainable. They're on back order. So not a good thing for us at Autobody. We like to use certain products. We're very happy with the products that we use. We could use Z-Grip, we can use another type of product. I just prefer the Platinum, and then I prefer a Fibertech reinforced repair compound filler. We've been using this on a lot of customer vehicles, and this is no different. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a nice layer all the way across, just like we did on the other one. And how we do this, same amounts. That'll get it. Let's see if we're in the camera here. Keep it in visual sight. You want to make sure it's consistent. You don't want to leave any streakies in there, see? So we're consistent. Going a little bit off my work, a little bit, that's not a big deal. I'm going to sand it out anyway. It's going to be completely sanded out. So basically where we're at with this is I'm going to let this cure back as well, and then I'm going to come in here with an 80 grit DA, and I'm going to DA this down. If we started hand blocking it, shoulder ain't going to like it too much. You don't want to push the block and wear out your sockets and your joints and stuff. Not a good thing. So preserve yourself. Run a DA on this bad boy. It ain't going to hurt anybody's feelings. You just want to get it down to where it fills all the low spots, and you want to build a layer over on top where you're not punching through the metal. And I just wanted to show you all what we do here. It's our little method. You can do differently. Don't ever think that this is the right way to do it or the wrong way or whatever. Do what you feel is right, but for us, this is what works. With that said, this is curing out really nice. Unfortunately, it's raining really bad out, so I don't know how much my audio is going to get screwed up. But you're going to see me come back and DA all this down, and we're going to do the roughing part on this, and then we're going to call it quits for this video. All right, everyone. Okay, something to note about Autobody. There's many different ways to skin the cat. We do a certain process here. Process we use works very well. There's other shops and other technicians that do different methods, okay? There's no real right or wrong, but you do want to make sure when, like we were doing the welding here, we had no rust in the metal pores or anything. We had good gas. It was only 40% humidity, so we knew we had nothing in here to start an issue of rust. We cleaned everything thoroughly and it was all good, so I can go directly to the metal with the Fibertech. You can technically do it like we did in the old days with Bondo and Bondo it all up. It'll be fine as well. I like to put a little more reinforcement stiff filler in there rather than Bondo, which is a little more flexible, and it's more or less a leveler, I think of it as, rather than a filler and a structural support, where Bondo I don't like to use as a structural support, if you get where I'm going. So this here, the Fibertech, actually puts a form into it. It's a real bitch to sand when you friggin' get ready to block this out. It will fight you, so I like to use an 80 grit DA, and I will rip through some 80 grit. But I wanted to share that with you. There's a lot of people with different methods, but this method seems to work good for us. And we did this on the Eleanor car and other cars previous, especially the Christine cars. I wish I shot footage for that one. You would have loved those cars. Anyway, we'll continue on. We're going to DA this down. Okay, I switched out fenders because this stuff is cured. That one's curing. And what we use is we're using USC 80 grit sticky back. What I like to do, because this stuff is a bear to get off your backing pad, and what it'll do, it's so sticky, it'll actually pull your backing pad apart after a while. And plus, when you pull this off of here, you're pulling at these ligaments. Ask me how I know. I've been doing this for many years. Be smart about it. What you want to do, since this old piece is junk, take this one, take that, and then put it on here. That way, it comes right off. And you don't want to put too much on if it, whatever you have. If you have really dusty, it's not going to stick. You wasted the paper. But, just enough so it holds really well and it won't rip your damn ligaments out, because sometimes this is a bear to get off. Alrighty. Basically what we're doing is we're taking out all the hides out, and what we're trying to do is see all the dark spots. They got to go for a reapply, but we're not going to be reapplying it if we don't need to. Our next job will be probably high build primer on top of this, and then we'll block this all smooth. Because I'm actually putting a little bit of a high in here, and I'm trying to take it down. This here is actually right on the money, and then up here the transition is starting to feel good. It's a little low right in here. So not only did we level the front with Fibertech, but we leveled the back. And the reason we like to do this here, we like to do inside out, up, down on all these cars, is it hides anything in porous in the welds. If we left these welds open and we just maybe coated them, somewhere, somehow, moisture will get behind here and start rotting away the welds and the metal in there. We don't want none of that. So leveling all this out in here, epoxy priming it, sealing it, painting it, and whatever going forward is the right way to do this, so nothing gets behind our work on both sides. So that's why we do both sides of the fender. Alright everybody, I'm going to wrap this video up. Don't need to get it too boring, but wanted to show you what we're doing with the Doyce's fenders on his 53 Ford. Sometimes the aftermarket is not your friend, but it's better than nothing. So we're going to make the best of a bad thing and turn to something really good and really cool looking when we're done doing the bodywork on this. Everyone, thank you for your time. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.